So, sometimes when we hear the word Batang Rizal, we think of him na siya yung nagsulat ng sa aking mga kabata. And then, uh, we also think of him na siya yung nag-imbento ng champurado. And, di ba meron pang isang story about his sleepers. So, yan yung usually idea natin sa Batang Rizal. But let me correct first yung mga myths or yung mga stories about Dr. Jose Rizal. So, it's likely that you are thinking that Rizal was already a prolific writer as a child and that he wrote the poem sa aking mga kabata. So, alam naman natin dito sa aking mga kabata, diyan matatagpuan yung phrase na ang hindi magmahal sa sariling wika ay higit pa sa isang malansang isda. So, in short, yung sa aking mga kabata is a masterpiece that express the love of one's native language and the importance of freedom. But did you know that the young Rizal did not write this poem? So, according to several studies and evidences, hindi talaga si Rizal yung sumulat dyan sa tula na yan. So, according to historian Ambet Ocampo, in an episode of the Howie Severino podcast, sabi niya, yung pinaka-quoted na quote kay Rizal, which is yung ang hindi marunong magmahal sa sariling wika ay masahol pa sa hayop at malangsang isda. Sabi ni Ambet Ocampo, hindi daw yun galing kay Dr. Jose Rizal. Kasi nung nag-conduct siya ng research, he found out na wala yung original manuscript. Ibig sabihin, wala siyang mahanap nung original na tula na sinulat talaga ni Dr. Jose Rizal. So, and in addition to that, yung na-publish na daw yung tulang sa aking mga kabata, na-publish yun nung patay na si Dr. Jose Rizal. So, and that concludes na yung sabi ni Ambet Ocampo na hindi siya nagsulat nung sa aking mga kababata. And accordingly daw, yung sa aking mga kababata ay may 2 manuscript. And these 2 manuscript were written in Tagalog. However, yung 2 manuscript na yon hindi sulat kamay ni Rizal. So, yan yung mga evidences kaya sinasabi na hindi si Rizal nagsulat nung sa aking mga kabata. And in addition to that, marami din nagdududang mga historians about sa sinulat ni Dr. Jose Rizal na sa aking mga kabata. Kasi sabi nila, parang it is unlikely na yung 8 years old na bata makagawa ng isang napakagandang poem na may 5 stanza na yung mga terms is malalalim and it has a meter and rhyme. So, sabi ng mga historians, sabi nila, paano masusulat niya ng isang bata? Eh, hindi pa naman aware ang isang bata sa mga ganyan na bagay. So, kaya it is very unlikely daw na si Rizal yung sumulat noon. And, pangalawang evidence, yung letter K was not widely used in 1869. Kasi, parang ang sabi dito, hindi pa uso yung letter K na gamitin sa mga words or sentences. Kasi nga, 'di ba, under tayo ng Spanish. So, ang kadalasang ginagamit nating letter is C. So, dito, sa tula ni Rizal daw, K ang ginamit. So, yung K, hindi siya widely used during 1869. So, that's another evidence bakit very unlikely na si Rizal yung nagsulat noon. And aside from that, the term kalayaan daw na ginagamit natin ngayon, hindi siya kadalasang ginagamit during the 19th century. Parang hindi pa uso yung word na yan na gamitin during the 19th century. So, yun. Kaya nag-connect yung mga yung mga evidences na na produce ng mga historians. Kaya they come up na hindi talaga si Rizal nagsulat nung tulang sa aking mga kabata. And aside from that, Rizal first encountered the word kalayaan in the summer of 1882. Nung 21 years old na siya. So, di ba, ang claim is this was written when he was 8 years old. So, masyadong malabo yung mga evidences. Kaya, sabi ng mga historians, hindi siya yung nagsulat nung poem na sa aking mga kabata. However, it is worth considering whether Rizal was already aware of the colonial condition of the Philippines at such young age. So, may mga nakiklaim na baka sobrang talino lang talaga ni Rizal, kaya niya naisulat yun. So, yan. Or, are we simply overestimating his abilities? So, yun nga. Baka OA lang yung pagtingin natin kay Rizal. However, this was not only lie about young Rizal. So, sabi ko nga kanina, isa din sa mga myths about Dr. Jose Rizal is siya daw yung nag-imbento ng champurado. So, bakit? Paano nag-umpisa tong myth na ito tungkol sa champurado? So, una kasi, yung favorite breakfast ni Dr. Jose Rizal is tuyo with 1 cup of rice and cup of hot chocolate. So, habang isang morning, kumakain siya ng breakfast, he accidentally spilled hot chocolate into his plate of rice and dried fish. So, pinagalitan siya daw ng kanyang sister for being wasteful. Sabi ng sister niya, ay sinasayang mo lang nunoy ang pagkakanta. However, sabi ni Rizal, he did it on purpose, na kapag minix mo daw yung rice and chocolate, you have champurado. Kaya dyan nag-umpisa yung myth about si Rizal daw ang nakaimbento ng champurado. However, walang primary source na nagsusupport nitong story na to. So, ibig sabihin, fake news itong myth na ito. Kasi, walang na-mention dun sa mga naisulat ni Rizal na isang araw na-imbento niya yung champurado. Although, ang nakasulat lang sa mga writings is favorite ni Rizal, yung tuyo, rice, and cup of chocolate. Another lie about young Rizal is yung story about the sleepers. So, here's a background story of that myth. So, habang naglalaro si Dr. Jose Rizal sa riverbank, yung isang tsinelas niya nahulog sa river. And then, syempre, bata pa siya, hindi niya na-retrieve or hindi niya nakuha yung tsinelas na nahulog. So, sabi niya, useless na tong tsinelas ko. Kaya ang ginawa niya, tinapon niya yung isa pang tsinelas niya dun sa river para daw, kung may makahanap daw kung mahanap daw yung sleepers niya, edi swerte sa makakahanap kasi pair pa rin yun. So, yan yung story about the um, chinelas. Chinelas story of Dr. Jose Rizal. So, although the story speaks of Rizal's selflessness, there is no historical basis for it. So, yan yung mga myths na pinatunayan na hindi naman totoo. So, this kind of stories about young Rizal depict him as a superhuman with exceptional intelligence, kindness, and patriotism. However, from the word itself, myth lang siya. Hindi siya napatunayan. This myths does not reflect the reality of Rizal's childhood. So, we need to correct these inaccuracies and we must view Rizal as a normal child and not as a superhero. Yan. So, now, let's look at the history. Kung saan pinanganak si Rizal, ilan yung mga kapatid niya, etc. So, to start the discussion, To start the discussion on the life of Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Rialonda, we must begin with his birth. So later, malalaman natin bakit ganito kahaba yung pangalan ni Dr. Jose Rizal. But let's discuss first yung kapanganakan ni Dr. Jose Rizal. So Rizal was born in June 19, 1861 in Calamba, Laguna. Again, June 19, 1861, Calamba, Laguna. So, according to some of the writings, sabi nila, pinanganak si Rizal between 11 and 12 o'clock at night, just a few days before the full moon. So, accordingly, nahirapan yung mama ni Rizal na iere si Dr. Jose Rizal kasi masyadong malaki yung ulo ni Dr. Jose Rizal. But fortunately, ipinanganak naman si Dr. Jose Rizal ng maayos. And her mother survived the difficult birth. So, nabuhay si Rizal, nabuhay din yung kanyang mama, despite of the problem that her mother is currently facing in her pregnancy with Dr. Jose Rizal. So, 3 days after na pinanganak si Dr. Jose Rizal, binaptized siya sa isang Catholic church by Father Rufino Collantes. So, ang nagbinyag kay Dr. Jose Rizal is si Father Rufino Collantes. So, the child was christened Jose Protasio. So, nakuha yung name na Jose Protasio doon sa dalawang santo. First saint is si Saint Joseph or si San Jose because his mother was a devout follower of Saint Joseph or San Jose. And yung Protasio naman, galing din ito sa isang santo na ang pangalan is Saint Gervasio Protasio, in which his feast day is celebrated every June 19. So, dyan nakuha yung name na Jose Protasio. Sa dalawang saints, which is si San Jose or Saint Joseph and Saint Gervasio Protasio. Kaya siya tinawag na Jose Protasio. So, during the baptism, napansin ni Father Collantes na malaki yung ulo ni Dr. Jose Rizal. So, dahil dyan, inadvisean ni Father Collantes yung mama and papa ni Rizal na alagaan si Dr. Jose Rizal. Kasi sabi niya, pag may malaking ulo daw yung isang bata, matalino daw yung bata na yun. So, he associated Dr. Jose Rizal with intelligence, and naniniwala siya na magiging great man someday si Dr. Jose Rizal. Kaya pinayuhan niya yung magulang ni Rizal na alagaan ng mabuti si Dr. Jose Rizal. So now, discuss natin bakit ganito kahaba yung name ni Dr. Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Rialonda. Okay. So, isa-isahin natin siya. So, again, yung Jose Protasio galing sa dalawang santo na si Saint Joseph and si Saint Gervasio Protasio. Ito namang Mercado, yan yung apelyido ng Rizal's Chinese ancestor na si Domingo Lamco. So, may lahing Chinese ang family ni Dr. Jose Rizal. So, since may lahi silang Chinese, medyo mainit sa mata ng mga Espanyol, yung mga Chinese. So, in order to avoid Chinese sentiment from the Spanish authorities, yung Lamco, pinalitan nila ng Mercado. So, para hindi mahalata na may Chinese ancestry si Doktor or yung family ni Dr. Jose Rizal. Kaya naging Mercado yung apelyido nila. Yung original na apelyido nila. Bakit naman naging Rizal? Saan nakuha yung Rizal? The surname Rizal is the surname adopted by the Mercados during the 1940 because of the Claveria Decree. So, ano itong Claveria Decree? Na reason bakit nagkaroon ng isa pang nickname yung mga Pilipino during the 1940. Noong 1840, si Governor General Narciso Claveria, nagmandato siya na yung mga Pilipino kailangan mag-adapt ng panibagong surname or additional surname to facilitate census work and tax collection. So, para mas mapadali yung pagsisensus and pagko-collect ng tax, yun, nag-mandate si Narciso Claveria na mag-adapt ng mga surnames, yung mga Filipino families. So, each province was given a list from which each family could choose a new surname. So, binigyan sila ng list, and ang list na yon ay yung tinatawag na Catalogo Alfabetico de Apellidos, or in English, Alphabetical Catalog of Surnames. However, despite na napakaraming mga apelyido, possible na apelyido na pwede nilang gamitin, kasi nagbigay si Claveria ng catalog of surnames na pwedeng gamitin, walang napili yung family Mercado. So, because of that, ang ginamit ng family, they choose to use the unlisted name Rizal. So, the family's original choice was Rizal, which means green of young growth or green fields. Kasi this reflects their livelihoods. Kasi 'di ba, inquilinos yung family ni Dr. Jose Rizal na nag-uupa sila ng agricultural land sa mga praile, and then sinasub-lease nila ito sa mga farmers. Kaya pinili nila yung Rizal na apelyido. However, even though they picked Rizal as their new surname, they continued to use Mercado. So, the new surname, Rizal, caused confusion in the commercial affairs of the family. So, ah, kasi di na alam kung ano ba gagamitin nyo. Rizal ba? Mercado ba? Ano ba? So, dahil dyan, um, Don Francisco thus settled on the combination name Rizal Mercado as a compromise. So, para malaman kaagad na family to ng Mercado, ginawa ni Don Francisco, inadapt niya yung dalawang surname. So, one, yung Mercado, yung original surname talaga nila, and yung Rizal is galing doon sa Claveria decree. Kaya, they use Rizal Mercado as their new surname to avoid confusions. Yung E naman indicates the conjunction and it separates the patriarchs and matriarchs surname. So, punta naman tayo sa apelyidong Alonso Rialonda. So, the surname Alonso comes from Rizal's mother's old family name. So, ang original na apelyido ng mama ni Rizal is Alonso. And then, di ba, na-discuss natin, nagkaroon ng Claveria Decree in which each Filipinos must adopt surname. So, ang napili naman na i-adopt na surname ng mga Alonso is Rialonda. Kaya Alonso Rialonda ang apelyido ng kanyang mama. So, they continue, just like the Mercados, they continued the surname Alonso. So, again, ang original na apelyido ng mama ni Rizal is Alonso. Yung Rialonda, bagong apelyido na lang yun because of the Claveria Decree. Kaya, kung mapapansin nyo, may 4 na surname si Dr. Jose Rizal, which is Rizal, Mercado, Alonso, and Rialonda. So, it is a combination of the old and new family names of both the mother and father of Dr. Jose Rizal. But, of course, sino naman sa atin ang may gahanang para remember ng masyadong mahabang name? So, we can call Rizal in his nickname, which is Pepe. Ngayon naman, bakit Pepe? Because, according to the book in Excelsis, writer Felice Prudente Santa Maria explains that Rizal got the nickname Pepe because the PP were always used after the name of Saint Joseph. So, 'di ba kasi galing yung name niya kay San Jose. So, si Saint Joseph daw, after yung name ni Saint Joseph, palaging may nakadikit na word na PP. So, in Latin, yung PP stands for Pater Putativus, which means putative father. So, in Spanish, the letter P is pronounced as P. Kaya tinawag si Rizal na Pepe instead of Jose. Kasi ginamit itong PP na word na palaging ginagamit sa name ni San Jose. Okay. So, given that Rizal's given name was Jose, people also began to call him Pepe as Rizal's nickname. So, dyan nakuha yung nickname ni Rizal na Pepe. Now, let's discuss yung family tree ni Dr. Jose Rizal. So, kayo take note of this. Si Dr. Jose Rizal was the 7th child of the Mercado family. So, alam naman natin na galing na sa mayaman na pamilya si Dr. Jose Rizal. Kasi nga, mga inquilinos yung mama and papa niya. And, of course, his family live on a tenant land owned by a Dominican in Calamba, Laguna. So, ito yung mama and papa ni Rizal. We have Francisco, his father, and Theodora, yung kanyang mama. And ito naman yung mga kapatid ni Dr. Jose Rizal. So, yung pinakamatanda is si Saturnina, followed by Pasiano, Narcisa, Olympia, Lucia, Maria, Jose Rizal, Concepcion, Josefa, Trinidad, and Soledad. So, isa-isahin natin tong mga siblings ni Dr. Jose Rizal. So, si Saturnina, kadalasan tinatawag siyang Neneng. So, siya yung pinaka-eldest sa magkakapatid. She married Manuel Hidalgo of Tanawan, Batangas, and nagkaroon siya ng 5 anak. Followed by Pasiano, also known as Lolo Siano. So, siya yung nakakatandang kapatid na lalaki ni Dr. Jose Rizal. And, siya yung pinaka-close ni Dr. Jose Rizal kasi palagi niyang kasama si Pasiano. Tuwing bata pa siya hanggang naging binata and naging adult si Dr. Jose Rizal. So, after the Philippine Revolution, Pasiano, after the death of Dr. Jose Rizal, si Pasiano, he joined the Philippine Revolution and became combat general. So, nagretiro siya in Los Baños and wala siyang asawa. He died at the age of 79. However, may anak siya sa kabit niya, which is si Severina Dicena. Then we have Narcisa. So, nickname niya is Sisisa. So, she was the one who found the unmarked grave of her brother in the abandoned old Paco Cemetery. So, siya daw yung nakahanap ng nilibingan ni Dr. Jose Rizal sa Old Paco Cemetery. So, napangasawa niya si Antonio Lopez, nephew of Father Leoncio Lopez, na school teacher and musician from Morong. And then we have Olympia. So, her nickname is Ipia. She married Silvestre Ubaldo, a telegraph operator from Manila. And nagkaroon siya ng 3 anak. However, hindi masyadong mahaba yung buhay ni Olympia. Namatay siya nung 32 years old siya because nagkaroon siya ng complications sa pakanganak. Kaya siya namatay. And then we have Lucia. So, si Lucia, napangasawa niya si Mariano Herbosa, who was a nephew of Father Casanas. So, may 5 anak si Lucia. And then we have Maria. Nickname is Biang. She married Daniel Faustino Cruz of Binyan, Laguna, and nagkaroon din siya ng 5 anak. So, yung isa sa anak ni Maria, naging student ni Dr. Jose Rizal sa Dapitan. And, accordingly, favorite daw ni Rizal na estudyante yung anak ni Maria. And Maria was a known recipient of many odd Jose's letters during his lifetime. Then we have Jose. So, alam nyo na si Dr. Jose Rizal kasi buong SEM natin siya pag-uusapan. And then we have Concepcion. Kaya siya walang picture doon kasi maagang namatay si Concepcion. So, she died at the age of 3 because of sickness. So, accordingly, yung pagkamatay daw ni Concepcion was the first sorrow na na-experience ni Dr. Jose Rizal sa kanyang buhay. Then, we have Josefa. Nickname is Pango. So, walang asawa si Josefa. And, kasama niya palagi is si Trinidad. So, namatay si Josefa because of epilepsy. Si Trinidad naman yung pang-sampung kapatid ni Dr. Jose Rizal. So, nickname niya is Trining. Pareha sila ni Josefa, walang asawa. So, si Trinidad, siya yung naka-receive nung alcohol lamp from his brother Jose Rizal, kung saan itinago ni Dr. Jose Rizal yung letter. Yung last farewell or yung tinatawag na Mi Ultimo Adios. So, it is a poem which Rizal wrote on the eve of his death in 1896. And then we have Soledad, the youngest, Choleng, ang nickname niya. So, she was the youngest of the Rizal's sibling. So, she married Pantaleon Quintero of Calamba, and together they had 5 children. And then, this is the father of Dr. Jose Rizal. So, this is Francisco Mercado Rizal. So, sabi ni Rizal, his father is more than just a father. So, he was a man of admirable qualities. So, si Francisco Mercado Rizal, pinanganak siya noong May 11, 1818 sa Binyan, Laguna. So, nag-aral ng Latin and Philosophy yung papa niya sa Colegio de San Jose in Manila. So, maagang nangulila sa ama yung father ni Dr. Jose Rizal. Kasi, yun nga, maagang namatay yung parents niya. So, ginawa ng father niya, he moved to Calamba to work in a hacienda owned by a Dominican. And although, let's be clear na yung panahon talagang yun, mayaman na yung father ni Dr. Jose Rizal na si Don Francisco. Kasi, yung papa niya, which is si Juan Mercado, was Binyan's gobernadorcillo in 1808, 1813, and 1823. So, yung lolo niya sa father side na si Francisco Mercado, he held the gobernadorcillo position in 1783 and incidentally owned the largest herd of carabaos in all of Binyan. So, it is clear that his father, Don Francisco, might have inherited some of his parents' wealth when his parents died. But because of his hard work, he made their money grow even more by engaging in farming and trading. So, sa Calamba, well-respected si Don Francisco. Kaya nga siya tinawag na Don Francisco. So, when we say Don, it is a honorific prefix used to show respect and courtesy. So, yung papa niya was a man of few words but great action, with a strong body and a sharp mind. So, dyan nakuha ni Rizal yung qualities niya na pagiging matapang because of the influence of his father. Yung papa niya din was elected by the citizens of Calamba to be their cabeza de barangay or the head of town. So, dahil dyan, hindi lang mahal si Don Francisco ng kanyang pamilya, but the people of Calamba also love Dr. Jose Rizal's father. So, sabi dito, Jose Rizal affectionately called Don Francisco as a model of fathers. So, parang role model daw yung kanyang ama. And this deep admiration and love for his father was evident in the art he created in honor of his father. So, noong 1881, he made a clay bust of Don Kiko, and 6 years later, he carved a life-sized wood sculpture of his father. And aside from that, to honor his father, nagkaroon ng anak si Dr. Jose Rizal kay Josephine Bracken. However, premature yung anak nila. So, pinangalanan niyang Francisco, yung premature son niya. And before his death, Jose Rizal wrote a letter to his brother Pasiano. Sabi niya, "Tell our father I remember him and how I remember my whole childhood of his affection and his love. Ask him to forgive me for the pain that I have unwillingly caused him." So, because of Don Kiko's independence and determination, he instilled in Dr. Jose Rizal yung free spirit that would inspire our national hero to become who he was. So, Don Francisco's life and legacy are a testament to the importance of hard work, perseverance, and love for family and community. So, based on our discussion, we can clearly see na yung relationship with his father is really good. So, malakas yung bonding nilang mag-ama. Malakas yung influence ng kanyang father. And it can be said na ganun din yung relasyon ni Dr. Jose Rizal sa kanyang mama. So, mahal na mahal din ni Dr. Jose Rizal yung kanyang mother. Because in his student memoir, sabi niya, without her mother, paano na kaya yung future niya? Yung kakahinatnan ni Dr. Jose Rizal. So, after God, the mother is everything to Matt. So, ito naman yung mother ni Dr. Jose Rizal. So, her name is Teodora Alonso Rialonda E. Quintos. And her mother was born on November 8, 1826 in Manila. So, kahit na hindi niya pa napapangasawa si Don Kiko that time, mayaman na din yung family ng kanyang mama. So, yung mama niya came from a long line of Principalia, which explains why her family was wealthy. So, ano yung Principalia? Kindly take note of this. Principalia is the ruling and educated upper class in the towns during the Spanish occupation. So, sila yung mga mayayaman during the Spanish regime, Spanish time. And aside from that, yung mama ni Dr. Jose Rizal came from lineages of ex-datus who were the original Principalias. And bakit naging mayaman itong mga datus na to? Kasi nakipag-cooperate sila sa mga Spanish to subjugate their former subjects. And yung cooperation nila, ang kapalit nun is that they will be given a government position. So, you can be a gobernadorcillo or in present time yung mayor, or you can be a cabeza de barangay, or in today's time, the town chief. Ay, sorry. The principalya status was hereditary. Ibig sabihin, na ipamamana itong principalya status, which includes yung mga government position na nahawakan nila. So, yung papa ni Teodora and yung lolo ni Teodora serve as gobernadorcillo or mayor. So, yung gobernadorcillo, yan yung pinaka-highest position na pwedeng mahawakan or pwedeng ma-elect ang isang Filipino. Yung grandfather ni Doña Teodora, which is si Cipriano Alonso, serves as Binyan's gobernadorcillo in 1790 and in 1802. Yung papa naman ni Teodora was Lorenzo Alberto Alonso. So, gobernadorcillo din siya during 1844. And aside from holding public office, the principalya class had privileges such as being exempt from paying taxes and leasing vast tracts of farmlands. So, kaya mapapansin natin noon na yung mga mayayaman, mas lalong yumayaman, and yung mga mahihirap, mas lalong pinapahirapan ng mga Espanyol. Kasi ito na, isang evidence na to, prinsipalya ka na, nasa mayamang class ka na, tapos hindi ka pa pinapabayad ng tax. So, napakaswerte ng mga mayayaman during the Spanish colonization or Spanish regime. So, since nasa mayamang pamilya nga si Teodora, nakapag-aral siya sa isang prestigious college, which is yung Colegio de Santa Rosa. So, ang course ng mama niya is literature and music. So, yung education and refined culture set her apart from most women of her time. So, Doña Teodora was a remarkable woman, possessing refined culture, literary talent, business ability, and fortitude of Spartan women. Yeah. And, masasabi din natin na si Doña Teodora is yung first teacher ni Dr. Jose Rizal. Bakit siya yung first teacher? Kasi, una niyang tinuruan si Dr. Jose Rizal na magsulat, magbasa, at manalangin at a very young age. Tinuruan niya din si Rizal ng mga values gaya ng discipline, justice, and compassion. And most importantly na i-treat niya yung mga Indios as equals. Aside from that, Teodora also act as Rizal's reading teacher and critic. And together, they would read books in their home library. So, isa to sa mga evidence bakit mayaman na yung family ni Rizal kasi bata pa lang si Rizal, mayroon ng library yung bahay nila. So, yung love ni Doña Teodora sa literature and arts would be passed on to her children who would become renowned writers and artists in their own right. So, shortly before the death of Doña Teodora, shortly before the death of Doña Teodora, inoferan siya ng government ng life pension. Kasi during that time, na-declare na si Dr. Jose Rizal as national hero. So, as a reward ng government, binibigyan sana nila ng life pension si Doña Teodora. However, nireject ito ni Doña Teodora. So, sabi niya, kung wala na daw maipaglalagyan ng pera yung gobyerno, kasi parang mukhang maraming pera yung gobyerno, dapat daw ang gawin ng gobyerno is to reduce taxes. So, yan. Kasi hindi mukhang pera si Doña Teodora. So, Teodora Alonso Rialonda y Quintos was not just a mother, but a force of nature that shaped the destiny of her child and in turn, the destiny of her nation. Her unwavering commitment to education and culture ignited a spark in her children that would eventually lead to the birth of Philippine independence. Her legacy is a testament to the power of a mother's love and the limitless potential of a human being. So, let her life inspire you to be the change you want to see in the world and to never underestimate the impact that a single person can have on the course of history. So, dyan natin tapusin yung discussion muna natin sa early life ni Dr. Jose Rizal. So, next meeting, we will be talking about the early education of Dr. Jose Rizal. So, naintindihan naman yung discussion natin. I assume na naintindihan. Okay? Don't worry, I recorded this lecture. So, you can replay this pag na-upload ko na to sa YouTube. Para dun sa mga nahihirapan mag-connect ngayon. Okay? Sige. If you do not have any questions, recheck ko lang yung attendance ninyo.